Hello everybody, it is time, it is another year, and that means predictions time. I am doing Cyber Weekend 2022 predictions. So yes, please do take everything with a pinch of salt with this one because I am just trying to predict. It's handy for me to speculate and as well handy for other people, but do bear in mind, it is just the case, it is only speculation when it comes to these particular things. This Cyber Weekend is going to be really tricky to predict. I've got some further info. I'm going to try and predict it, but there's some things to note. 7-star shards are a thing in the game. You can acquire them, you can't really do anything with them, but they're there. We also have Tier 6 Basic and Tier 3 Alpha, which is substantially being undervalued, but we also have Tier 5 class Catalyst in some sort of chunk. Not a huge amount, but if you did act 8.100% or you got 8.100% plus bought the exploration deal, you might have a little chunk. We've also had relic shards being introduced in the game, and the relics kind of shard store, crystal, whatever it is, as well as alloys are going to be entering into the game at a later date. So this leads us on to considerations, warnings, and thoughts. Okay, so considerations. Will Kabam do the same game structure, the multi-option as did in 2021, which are, if you're unfamiliar with that one or can't remember, I'll refresh your memory. Will there be relic shards? And again, that's going to be very important, and the extent of rarity if they're going to be introduced. Will Paragon get better volumes of Tier 6 Basic and Tier 3 Alpha, which will need to be a thing, especially with the devaluation of those particular Tier 6 Basics and Tier 3 Alpha? Will Paragon players see Tier 6 class Catalysts, or will there be a selector? Again, a really important thing to kind of consider. Will 7-star shards make an appearance as they are now dupable in acquisition? True. Will alloys and embers be in the deals, seeing as they're in the glory store? A very important point. If Kabam put embers and alloys into the glory store, then yes, there's a great chance of them being put into the Cyber Weekend store. The warnings are this. If you know, back in July 4th, 2022, it cost 18,000 units to get rank 4 materials if you were Paragon, and even though it says Paragon there, I meant Thronebreaker. 15,000 units for Thronebreaker players to get rank 4 materials back in July 4th, 2022. So we need to see some improvements there. And my own personal thoughts on this stuff is that Tier 3 Alpha and Tier 6 Basic should be devalued. They should definitely be devalued because they have been devalued since July 4th deals. 6-star Awakening Gems and Tier 5 class Catalysts were also devalued because they entered into things like Rifts. And also there's incursions, 6-star Awakening Gems, and Tier 3 Alpha fragments and Tier 6 Basic fragments. So we have seen devaluation across the game. So therefore, it shouldn't be a case you have to spend 18,000 units to get a Awakening Gem, a 6-star Awakening Gem. And as well, will Kabam slot the most spiciest of free-to-play deals towards the end? Which, let's face it, they did that with July 4th deals. And they shouldn't do this time, especially for Paragon. Kabam will likely have chase rewards slotted in the multi-deals, meaning a larger spend. So what I mean by that is that you'll have to spread your spend. Now let's try and explain that with some more visuals. So one of the biggest problems I have with doing any prediction is this. We don't know what the deals are going to look like. Will they look like the multi-spread deals that were there last year, which were really good? A lot of the community really loved the way these were set out, including myself. And by then, back then, I was a spending player within the game. I am non-spending this year. So these are they're much more important being a free-to-play player. In that, will this have the same type of spread of things? Possibly. But then this is Kabam, and every time you think they're going to bring something back, they never do. So what Kabam could decide to do is roll out what they had last time, like a like-for-like swap. They may have to spice up and increase the volume of items included in any kind of July 4th deal comparison. So on screen right now, this is the Paragon one from July 4th deals 2022. And it had a massive spread of things, and it was actually okay. It was okay. My only criticism for it was that you needed to spend 18,000 units to get any rank 4 materials, which, let's face it, a lot of Paragon players wanted to see more rank 4 6-star materials, as well as a few other things as well. But you kind of think, well, the game's moved on. Everything's been devalued. We said about it, 6-star Awakening Gem is in Incursions. It was in the Rifts. Yes, trying to get those things is difficult, but at the same time, it has been devalued because you can still access that a lot more easier than you might think. So yes, that's one thing that's definitely been devalued. But at the same time, we've had Tier 6 class Catalysts, we've had relics and stuff like that. So will this change it up? And Thronebreakers obviously was still a buff from its 2021 Cyber Weekend counterpart. So with those considerations in mind, yes, Kabam could go this way when it comes to delivering these deals, but I'm gonna go on the edge on the side of hope. and hope that Kabam, do a regular new thing, which is to set the deals out in multi-coverage deals. Yes, it might mean you spend more units, but you get to be conservative and as well grab the stuff you want as opposed to what you've been dictated to by Kabam in deals like this. So here goes with my prediction for Cyber Weekend Deals 2022. And as I said, my hope is that Kabam roll out these similar deals. I do feel that Kabam could give better value to Paragon players and could indeed, and as I've kind of like mentioned in this spreadsheet, there are things where it's chase reward which Kabam could slot in, which it could be the things like relic shards or alloys, and they could replace certain things. Basically what I've done is I've looked at some of the deals from July 4th and I've bumped them up. For example, looking at the 1,000 units for those at Paragon, I'm going with potentially having in that rank 1 to rank 2 6-star gem, a 6-star hero crystal, 10 6-star signature stones and 100,000 gold. But then looking at, say, other 1,000 unit deals, and it could be a case there's 2 others, and it could be the same thing where you spend 5,000 units by buying a 1,000 deal, then a 2,000 deal, another 2,000 deal. So that's 5,000. That means you can buy some of the other deals. But do bear in mind, things have devalued. It'd be weird to say if, and as I've mentioned in my notes, the Prime Ascendant Crystal should go, but Kabam does love it. They do. And I just think that it should definitely be removed from it. But relic shards and alloys feel like they should be put in, and whether or not the value is either going to be a 4 or 5-star relic, again, that's yet to be seen. Do I think 6-star relic shards are going to be put in? Maybe towards like some of the end deals, especially when you get into close to like 18,000 unit section, or maybe a bit more than that one. But there should be another kind of like, there should be flexibility. So rather than saying a crystal, which let's face it, they'll probably put in something like a 6-star rank up gem, rank 1 to 2 crystal, there should be some definite ones, and it should be a high volume. So, if there's, I think in July 4th deals, it was like 3 of one of them. Well, Kabam will only give you 2, especially for 1,000 units. But again, as we said, this is Paragon. This is meant to be the top of the top and getting the best kind of like options for these particular deals. Likewise, I think there will be a good amount of 6-star signature stones. The value of them has decreased a lot, especially with battlegrounds and other areas of the game getting more 6-star shards, 6-star signature stones. So I would definitely see a lot of that. And again, flexibility to choose what you do with your 6-star shards, whether or not you're going to dual class, so you choose your own dual class, or you're choosing featured, so you get that choice. There's also other things, like I do think we'll see 6-star 2021 champ Nexus, so like a selector for the Nexus, which you've seen in the July 4th deals, and as well a few other things as well, whether or not it's a year specific one or a class specific one. I do think we should be seeing that. High volumes of tier 5 class catalysts, again, that makes total sense, as well as some tier 5 basics, because that's still something that players need. They've been upped in the Glory Store. I feel that we should see some more of them. The big bone of contention and question would be things like the tier 6 basic and tier 3 alpha situation, which I do feel that we should be seeing a lot more within the game. More so when it comes to the rank 5 resources. A lot of people are still trying to rank 4 6 stars. I get it. But at the same time, Kabam have given, it's not for anyone else's choice, Kabam have decided to give out tier 6 class catalyst. They've also put it in Alliance War seasons, but they didn't put it in stuff like AQ seasons, the new season buff, season 10. So it does put some weird questions on the state of these particular chase rewards. Like, what are Kabam doing with them? Are they actually kind of waiting a little while for them to be kind of like more prevalent, but decided to put them out in Act 8.1 and the exploration deal? So it does mean they have entered deals. So it could mean that this is going to be a potential option to be slotted in, whether or not we see a fragment crystal, or maybe after 18,000 units that they've put in something like a selector of some kind. And let's face it, for me, more than likely. Spending deals, however, I do think, I'm not going to guess the spending deals. I will probably talk about them when they're released, because they devalue, not devalue, but they kind of like, they put unrealistic expectations, especially for a lot of free-to-play players. So when it comes to Cyber Weekend, when this is released, I'll do a video kind of looking at the, assessing them, because there will be such a divide between, putting in, spending £100 and getting tier 6 class catalyst fragment crystals against, Paragon free-to-play players are not getting anything at all. So it's something to consider. Do I think that we're going to see another 6-star Awakening gem? I'd probably say we'd see a 6-star Awakening gem crystal in one of the 5,000 unit bundles. And then right at the end of the 3,000 one, I think we'll probably see a generic. I think there'll be more available this time, as well as a 6-star, a rank 3 to 4 gem. I think that's a possibility. And yeah, plenty of shards should be on offer. I think I should have added that in, just saying like more 6-star shards available to this. I mean, there's probably one there. But Kabam do mix it up between stuff. And I do think the Nexus Cavalier crystals will make some sort of spicy return because, hey, they are darn spicy and darn nice. In comparison, and by the way, I might leave this spreadsheet available in a link in the description, but I do want to make sure that I'm careful with who sees this and how they're able to kind of like use this for the point of, I don't know, saying that this person's saying this, and then it's like it's misconstrued on forums and things taken out of context. That's my biggest concern. So in any case, let's just round off with Thronebreaker, which I think that is going to have a similar to what it is with July 4th. There's been a lot. If you look at Cyber Weekend 2021, the structure of it, which looks a bit like this, you'll see that there's kind of like really weird things like mythic crystals, and then there's things like tier 4 basics and not a huge amount of tier 5 class catalyst. And July 4th deals, Kabam actually kind of gave more availability with a tier 5 CC fully formed at 1,000 units. So they have upped certain things with Thronebreaker, but I think they'll go to what they did back a long time. If anybody remembers the jump up that players did from Cavalier to Thronebreaker, and in the following year, they screwed Cavalier players when it came to having those stretch rewards because there'd been the Thronebreaker progression title put in. I think the same thing will be in Cyber Weekend. Thronebreaker players will not see things like like tier 6 basics and stuff like that, like fragments. I'd like to hope you will. I really hope you will. But I have this feeling that Kabam, because Paragon was a very new thing, that they kind of like not stretched it, but they've taken and plopped in to Paragon some of the stuff. I don't 100% know that. It's just a case of like Kabam have done it in the past, so why wouldn't they do it again? And I'm not saying about like, oh, you know, regularly returning things. I'm talking about, you know, screwing over the players. Screwing over the players. Let's go with that one. But yeah, alloys, embers, relic, shards, I think they'll probably come in some sort of way. If not, they won't, and it will be something that will be specific to Battlegrounds and as well some other content as well. But we will have to see about these things. And yeah, that has largely been my predictions. As I said, chase rewards and chase resources are going to be the biggest things that players are going to look out for, and we'll be doing plenty to cover the situation of, is there something of value for players there? You know, top tips, best things for free to play, best things for spending, non-spending. And me and Dan are going to do a special podcast on this, which should be maybe a live podcast. We're working on something now to how we actually, you know, set out how we're going to do it. So yeah, look out for that. That's been a video. I didn't want to go too long on this one. I might leave this spreadsheet available. Actually, no, I'll leave you last year's spreadsheet, which has all of the stuff just to help you prepare. And maybe I'll do a how to prepare for Cyber Weekend video. To be honest, I think it's probably best to kind of like just cover it once it's released, once I've kind of like, you know, typed up all this stuff, and then what we do is we do some top tips with it. So that's what we might do. In any case, that has been the video. Thank you very much for watching. What are your thoughts on Cyber Weekend? And do you think that some of these resources are going to be in there? Do you think they're going to be devalued? Do you think Kabam are going to be stingy? Do you think Kabam are going to do the same structure with the multi-deal setup they did before? Thoughts of this in the comment section down below. And yeah, check out some other content. Happy Thursday, everybody. And I will see you in the next video, whenever that will be. Also, look out on Friday. We're doing a return to the debunking series. It's going to be a funny one. And we've got lots more of the videos like that to come. Cheers, everybody. Bye-bye.